What's going on, everyone? Chris back again with episode 27 of What Could Have Been in Wrestling. Apologies again for my voice. I am still getting over bronchitis, but I am finally starting to feel better. So, this week, this episode brings us back to 2015. And it was an episode that actually, in a question I had addressed originally in episode 20 in short form about Seth Rollins. And I've had a couple people ask me to do a long form episode about it, so I decided to do it today. And the original credit and the one who originally asked me about it was Clyde Bloss 7188. And he had asked, what if Seth Rollins never got injured in 2015? So, let's just jump right into that topic. Now, going back to 2015, Seth Rollins had been the WWE Universal Champion since Wrestlemania 31 that year, when he did that cash-in on Brock and Roman. At Survivor Series in 2015 that year, going up to that November, he was scheduled to take on Roman in a one-on-one match for the title. But leading up to that, at a house show earlier that month, he had actually torn his ACL when going up against Kane and trying to do that sunset flip power bomb off the top rope. And that's what led to his torn ACL. So while not actually originally ever being beaten for the belt, he was stripped of it, and the belt was held up, and there was that one-night tournament at Survivor Series that Roman won when defeating Dean Ambrose. Now, if Seth never gets injured, what you can still have there is you can still go ahead with the one-on-one match between Seth and Roman. And in this scenario, I do think Roman would still win the belt by beating Seth cleanly, and he'd become the new Universal Champion. You can still go ahead and have the same ending, and you can actually have Triple H come out, and having all the confetti and having it being Roman's big coronation moment, you can still have Triple H come out trying to congratulate Roman and offering to shake his hand, and you can still have Roman spearing Triple H. From there, I think you could still move ahead with the Sheamus cash-in, because he had been the Money in the Bank winner earlier that year in 2015. And you can still have Sheamus cash in, Brogue kick Roman, and win the WWE Universal title. So the ending scene can still be Triple H endorsing Sheamus as the new champion, and that's how Survivor Series wraps up. The next night on Raw, you can obviously have Triple H celebrating the win for Sheamus and the Authority, and of course giving Sheamus his seal of endorsement. But you can have Seth, obviously, still hinting at that he wants his rematch for the belt, claiming that it was a fluke that Roman beat him, because Seth has beaten him before. And also, Seth still can look at himself as the crown jewel of the Authority. Triple H can actually then kind of lay into Seth a little bit, and this can be the first signs of tension between the two. He can tell Seth, you gotta remember who got you to where you are, and remember your place here. Yeah, you won the belt at Mania, but the only reason you held it for that long is because we gave you J&J security. We gave you Corporate Kane to protect you, and we also made sure you were the one who originally won Money in the Bank in 2014. So really, it's going to be kind of degrading everything Seth accomplished, but then saying once you didn't have those things protecting you, you lost to Roman. So if you want a shot at this belt, and then of course now Sheamus becoming, the guy that they're endorsing, they can tell Seth, if you want a shot at the belt, then you need to beat Roman here tonight. And the winner of that match between you and Roman, excuse me, will be the number one contender for Sheamus and will face Sheamus at TLC in December of that year of 2015. Roman and Seth can then have their main event match on Raw for the number one contender, right? And I think you can actually have Roman beat Seth again. So now Seth has let Triple H down twice. The night before at Survivor Series, and now 2 nights in a row he's lost to Roman, and he's come up short for the authority. Now to conclude TLC, I think you should still have Roman, while lose to Sheamus, you can have him attack the League of Nations and still go basically Brock Lesnar on Triple H and still have him Superman punch him, attack Triple H with a chair, powerbomb Triple H to the table, and spear him to take him out. So Triple H would then need to be taken out and be taken to a medical facility. From there, with Triple H now taken out of the picture, Seth, who again isn't in the main event of TLC, can come out and tell Stephanie, look, I still want my title back, and since you're not going to help me, I'm officially entering the 2016 Royal Rumble. I'm going to win the Rumble myself and take back my title at WrestleMania. Now, Stephanie can obviously tell Seth, look, if that's what you think you want to do, go ahead and do it. But if you're so adamant about doing this on your own, because you feel we haven't done enough for you, Seth, then don't look to us for any help. Because again, he's going to tell Stephanie, since your husband isn't here, because he's laid up in a hospital bed, again, now teasing some tension between Stephanie and Seth, bringing up that Triple H is out of the picture, even though he did appear on NXT later that same week. Obviously, he can tell Stephanie, I'm doing this on my own, and I don't need any approval from you. I still think you can actually still move ahead and have Roman, this is why things are going to tie in, still have Roman beat Sheamus on Raw for the title, and become the new WWE Universal Champion. Because remember, at Rumble in 2016 that year, Stephanie did make that ruling that Roman would not only be number one in the Rumble, but he would also be defending his title within the Rumble against 29 other men, and whoever won the Rumble that year would also be the champion. So now moving ahead to the Rumble, I think obviously you can still have Roman come out number one as champion, and you can still have him getting taken out by the League of Nations. And as the Rumble progresses through, you can still have Dean Ambrose come in as an entrant as the Intercontinental Champion, looking to become a 2-title holder. And at number 30, instead of it being a returning Triple H, in this scenario, since Seth never got injured, number 30 can be Seth Rollins. So the Architect, who's always a visionary, is in prime spot to win because he's got number 30. And as the numbers dwindle down, the final 3 men can be, yes, you guessed it, the Shield. So the final 3 men are Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. As they battle it out, and they go for the eliminations, you can still have Triple H come out. Triple H can come out not as an official entrant, but he can come out and actually look like he's going to attack Roman and Dean to assist Seth. But he can turn around, and much like he did in the summer of 2016, when he turned on Seth in favor of Kevin Owens, you can still have Triple H hit a pedigree on Seth and be directly responsible for his elimination. So now the Rumble, of course, would come down to Dean and Roman instead of Dean and Triple H, with the belt on the line. And for a big reaction and to capitalize on his momentum, I actually would have Dean Ambrose win the 2016 Royal Rumble, and become a 2-title holder of the world title and of the WWE title and Intercontinental title, and have him ride his wave of momentum to Mania. So he wouldn't be working with Lesnar, so things would also change for him. But still, moving forward, going back to Seth and Triple H, the next night on Raw, Seth can come out and call out Triple H, demanding an explanation of why Triple H did what he did, and basically telling Triple H that he's going to regret his actions. Stephanie can come out again and tell him this time, look, Triple H isn't here. He doesn't have time for you. And while Seth obviously demands an explanation, Stephanie can tell him, look, you seem to have forgotten that it was us that got you to where you are. We're the reason you became champion at Mania 31. We're the reason you won Money in the Bank. And you seem to have forgotten for the reason for your success, so we just had to give you a reminder and put you back in line. Seth obviously isn't going to accept that excuse and demand to talk to Triple H. Stephanie can tell him, while he's not here tonight, you can come to Fastlane, which was their next pay-per-view, and you can get your answers there. So Seth obviously can come out at Fastlane while Triple H comes out first. Triple H can obviously explain, look, while Seth obviously was a guy we handpicked to represent the authority and someone who we'd put our trust in, he'd let us down. And it was always me having to bail him out and clean up his mess. And I did that elimination to him in the Royal Rumble because he thought he could do it on his own, and I needed to remind him everything he has is because of the authority. But in terms of what's best for business, he can tell Seth, if you want to talk to me face to face, come on out here. So as Seth comes out, I still think you can have Samoa Joe debut that night and attack Seth Rollins. Because remember when Triple H always talked about Seth meeting his destroyer? Well, say hello to your destroyer, Seth, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe can still attack Seth on the outside, bring him into the ring, and hit him with the Coquina Clutch. I know in 2017 when Joe did put Seth in the Coquina Clutch, the way he took him down actually tore Seth's LCL. Since the original ACL tear isn't happening here, I'm actually going to say that the LCL tear wouldn't happen either because Seth's knee wouldn't be as vulnerable. And you can still do an attack where Seth is softened up, where Samoa Joe goes after his knee. But this time now it's a storyline, not a legitimate injury. So you can still have Samoa Joe attack Seth's knee after he chokes him out with the Coquina Clutch. And Triple H now has obviously a hired gun, basically to shield him, no pun intended, from any Seth attack. From there on out, Seth can obviously sell the injury coming out with a crutch, but still guaranteeing Triple H, I am going to get my hands on you, I am going to get payback for all this, and I don't care who I have to go through. With that in mind, Triple H, now back in the picture and recovered from his original attack, can tell Seth, I have no reason to face you, and I don't need to face you. And if you want any shot at getting to me, you're going to have to get through Samoa Joe first. So, again, Samoa Joe can be Triple H's hired gun, and the man that basically, I was going to say Roadblock, and I know that's their next pay-per-view, so I hate that I said that. But yeah, he can be the roadblock between him and Triple H, being Samoa Joe, who I believe was also, had also become the NXT champion at that point, around that time as well. So now, even though I just said that, and I hate that I said that, going into the next pay-per-view before Mania, going into Roadblock, you can have the feature match for Seth Rollins, well, his feature match, be a confrontation and a one-on-one match with Samoa Joe. You can have it where Samoa Joe takes control of most of the match, but again, this is for Seth's opportunity to finally face Triple H. So Seth isn't going to quit ever, and you're going to have him in the underdog role, so now he's now he's officially a babyface again. And it's now obviously Seth fighting from underneath against the bigger, stronger Samoa Joe. And while it looks like he's overwhelmed, Joe actually, to end the match, can have Seth in the Coquina Clutch. But Seth can do that, kick off the turnbuckle pinning combination while being choked out. Similar to how Brock Lesnar pinned Bobby Lashley, or how Bret Hart pinned Stone Cold at Survivor Series. And he can do a flash pin. And you can play it up where, while Joe did dominate the match, Seth luckily found a way to win and was able to escape with the victory. So now that he was able to clear through Samoa Joe, now all the roads are leading up to a match at WrestleMania 32 with Triple H. To build this up, you can still have the one-on-one confrontations, and not so much of a brawl, but instead have their in-ring segments between Seth and Triple H, where again, Triple H reminds Seth of what he's throwing away by taking on this match, and how Seth, obviously, being Triple H's hand-picked successor and the one to represent the authority, he's now going to be such an ingrate, and he's not going to show any appreciation for everything Triple H did for him to advance his career, and remind Seth that, look, while you were on top a year ago, now that you're against me, you'll never see that WWE title again. Seth can fire back still with the same kind of promo we had in their 2017 build, telling Triple H, look, this isn't even about Mania, it's not about money, but it's about reclaiming who I was before I met you, and I'm not doing this for the money or the fame, it's because I love wrestling, and I love performing for the fans, again solidifying his babyface turn, embracing the fan support now, and telling them at Mania, I'm going to slay this demon, I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to get you out of my life. So now we move into WrestleMania 32, and we have Triple H taking on Seth Rollins, and Triple H can also throw in a caveat when they have their contract signing that this match is no holds barred. So no DQs, no countouts, and anyone, including Samoa Joe, can interfere in the match. So Seth, obviously, in the babyface role, is going to agree to that, and now this no holds barred match is on your way. So they can still have a very similar match that they had at Mania 33. And while it can be back and forth, using things like the tables and a chair and fighting through the crowd, ultimately, I think you can still have the same kind of bump for Stephanie, that she goes through the table to take her out of the match so she can't interfere. And while Triple H can obviously focus on Seth's leg for most of the match, going off of the angled injury, not the legitimate injury, but an angled injury in kayfabe that Samoa Joe had started, you can still have Seth overcome the odds, nail Triple H with a pedigree, and you can still have Seth gaining his vengeance on Triple H for everything he put him through over the past few months, starting really at the Royal Rumble, costing him the Royal Rumble, and then having Samoa Joe attack him. And you can have Seth Rollins coming out victorious at Mania 32. And really, like you said, putting the authority behind him for now, in being able to lay claim that I've beaten the guy who was supposed to be my mentor and the man who allegedly had done everything for me. I just proved to him that I'm better than him by beating him at Mania. And then obviously the roads can be cleared for Seth to be back into the world title picture post-Mania, but this time as a babyface rather than a heel. So that's where I'm going to stop it from there, because I know the original plan before Seth got injured was Seth versus Triple H at Mania 32. Due to the injury, it was just held off 1 year, and they did face off at Mania 33 instead. But I just wanted to obviously talk about the course of action, and I think the angles they would have run to get us to that Mania match, and obviously how it would have led to an inevitable Seth Rollins babyface turn. So let me know what you think. Obviously, if you think they still would have had Sheamus go ahead with his cash-in and win the WWE title from Roman the night of Survivor Series had Seth not gotten injured. Let me know what you think of my thoughts of Dean Ambrose winning the 2016 Rumble instead of Triple H. And obviously, if you think they still would have brought in Samoa Joe as Triple H's assassin like they did in 2017. Also, let me know if you'd want me to expand into a part 2 of Seth's run post-Mania 32 if he had never gotten injured. And obviously, let me know down below in the comments what you think. And obviously, let me know what other topics you'd like me to talk about. Again, thank you to everyone who wrote in about this topic, especially to Clyde Bloss 7188 for the original suggestion. I'll be back soon again with more topics to talk about, and with episode 28, because I already have a good idea for that topic as well. And I appreciate everyone's feedback and support. And again, like I said, I'll be up posting again soon. Take care, everybody.